So infusions. So hot teas may there's two things we're going to talk about: infusions and decoctions, um, which are teas. And the hot teas is another word for infusions, but it's a little bit different in preparation. It can be chilled, can be served chilled. However, if you're giving somebody teas for like a cold or flu, then it should be taken hot. Infusions are used for leaves, flowers, and tender herbs. So to make an infusion, you pour 1 cup of boiling water over 1 tablespoon of dried herb, or 1 ounce of dried herb for every pint of hot water. And then if you use fresh herbs, you have to use 3 times the amount of dried. And then what you want to do is cover it with a lid and then allow the herbs to steep for anywhere from 10-20 minutes. Leaving the lid off will let essential oils escape. You know how they make essential oils through distillation? So the essential oils are going up in that steam. If you leave it off, then they're kind of gone away. So you keep the lid on there. That's really important. And then you strain it and you drink it. You can store an infusion up in the refrigerator for a couple of days. A standard dosage is 1 cup 3 times a day. It can be made stronger for a more medicinal effect. For example, chamomile tea, like everybody knows, is a really good sedative. It's good for menstrual cramps. But if you really have bad cramps, you really want to make a super strong chamomile tea. Like you'd want to use a fresh herb and do it in a pot as opposed to just a chamomile tea bag, that kind of thing. There's also a thing, this was a Susan Weed's thing, that she has these nourishing infusions, which is where you put a nourishing herb like one of oat straw or nettles or milky oat, and you add a half a cup of that herb, and then you put a quart of boiling water on it, and then you let it sit overnight, and you strain it and drink it the next day. And a lot of the people that follow Susan Weed, a lot of people are really into this nourishing infusions thing, particularly with nettles, and it's got a lot of great benefits. A decoction is a boiled tea, and that's the best method for barks, seeds, nuts, and roots. Decoctions primarily extract the mineral salts and bitter principles rather than vitamins and volatile ingredients. And then to make decoctions, you boil 1 cup of water, ideally in a non-metal pot, but you can use metal as long as it's one of the good kind, not aluminum. And you put a tablespoon of dried herb or an ounce of dried herb for every pint of hot water. So a tablespoon for every cup, or an ounce, the same as with an infusion, the same thing. And then if you are using a fresh plant, again, you use 3 times the amount of a dried. You can break up large pieces of roots into smaller pieces that help break it down and boil them. And then you want to cover it and simmer it on low for 25 to 45 minutes. And after simmering, usually that will simmer down to be about 3/4 of the size of the volume that you started with. And then you strain it and drink it. It can, the same as an infusion, it can be stored in the refrigerator for a couple of days. And a standard dosage is 1 cup 3 times a day. It can be made stronger. Again, if the herb is very bitter or strong, which is a lot of times your roots are, you can make it even stronger, so you only have to take a couple of tablespoons, or actually I tend to do those in shot glasses, like a shot of something. Now a cold extract is preparing the herbs with cold water, and that preserves the most volatile ingredients but only extracts minor amounts of the mineral salts or bitter properties. And so the method of preparation is called maceration. So you measure 2 tablespoons of dried or 6 tablespoons of fresh plants to a cup of water. You put the herbs in a glass jar or ceramic container and you macerate or let it soak for 8 to 12 hours, and then you strain it and put it in a storage bottle, and you can keep it in the refrigerator for 1 or 2 days. So, tincture, that's a good time to